Hello students, this video will go over how to complete your assignment 3. Assignment 3 is another menu-driven program, which is part 2 of the airport application. And it's menu-driven in the similar sense that your previous assignment emergency decision program was run. So I'm just going to run it and show you what the output is expected to look like. So when you run this program, you're going to see a flight status reporter menu banner with these options. So when you enter A, then it creates for us the arrival information of flights that are coming into Los Angeles. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 flights with gate numbers, flight number, gate number, the airport from which they are arriving, the scheduled time and the expected time and the delay in their arrival. So as you can see here, the first flight, it is scheduled to come at 3. It is expected to land at 3:30, so the delay is 30, and so on. Some of them are coming on time, and therefore you will see 0, and some of them are 10 minutes late. So you are familiar with the delay calculation because you have done that in your lab. Now let me enter the D. So when I press the menu option D, I get the departure information. And as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flights that are leaving out of Los Angeles, and they're leaving for these destinations. Scheduled departure is 11:45. This one is 14 minutes late, and so on and so forth. So again, the delay calculation is familiar. So, so this is what the second part of the airport application is about. Now I'd like to go over your assignment specifications. And as you can see, you are given in your data file, you are given a flight number, a gate number, a destination or source airport, a scheduled time, and actual departure or arrival time. Now, in the template that will be given to you, you will be given 2 files, arrival.txt and departure.txt. And as you can see, from the lab, if you remember, you just had the arrival time and the expected arrival and the scheduled arrival and the expected arrival. But as you can see, there's a whole line of information here. So the line contains several fields. The first field is the flight number, then the gate number, the city, the scheduled arrival or departure time, and the actual arrival or departure time. So there's a lot more information than the file that's given in your lab, and what you're going to be expected to do in this assignment is to open the file, read one line at a time, pick out all of these individual fields, pick out the scheduled arrival or departure time, pick out the actual arrival or departure time, and then do the delay calculation and print the delay in the output. The rest of the information is just going to be read, and then it's going to be displayed as it is. But the delay is going to have to get calculated from these 2 fields, and then it's going to have to get displayed. You know how to do the delay calculation because you did it in the lab. However, there's one difference. The difference is that the scheduled time, unlike in your lab, is actually in a string format. It's not an integer anymore. But as you will see in the template, that you have been provided with a function that converts from string to integer. So what you need to do is to be able to open a file, and you know how to do that. Read one line at a time, pick out the fields from that line, and then pick out the times, do the delay calculation, and display the banner and display the output in the form that we just saw when I ran the program. So here are the tests that your program needs to pass. And so, for example, if you run the menu and you press A for arrival, and then you press D and then enter, D for departure, and then quit, then you should be able to see the arrival information and departure information. The second testing sequence shows that input validation is going to get done, and then you enter W, it says enter a valid choice, and so on and so forth. Now, I would like to go over the template that's been given to you. Please be sure to use the template because that will make your life very simple. As you can see, the template consists of main. I'm going to rename that as, please rename that as flight status reporter main.cpp. My ID does not allow me to do that. Exactly like in the emergency decisions menu, the main program consists of a single button or a single function call, which is called the flight status reporter menu. The two files are given to you, arrivals.txt and departure.txt. The header file has got all the function prototypes of the function headers that are going to be used. Now, you will see that I have also provided an execution chart, which outlines the flow of execution of the program, i.e. the sequence of function calls. And this is just a list of the functions that are used because we need to put this in the header. Now, this is the implementation file, which includes the header, and it defines all of the functions. This is your template. Several boilerplate code functions have been given to you. Please follow the directions. And where it says do not change, just keep the functions as they are. But do go through the functions because there's a lot of teachable stuff here, and you will if you will recall, if you pass a file variable, you pass it by ref, and this function is given to you, you're expected to mimic the same open file process for the departure file. So if you look at the code here, you will know what to insert inside this function to complete the function. So follow the directions. So there's a open arrival file. So open the arrival file, open the departure file, and then there is a process the arrival file. What process arrival file does, it goes straight off and displays the banner. Then it repeatedly reads from the arrivals file. So it reads one line at a time. And as you can see here, this function read line, it reads from that file, and here's the file variable. It reads the flight number, it reads the gate number, and then it reads the airport from which this flight is arriving, the scheduled time, and the delay, and the actual arrival time. And so what you will do in this process arrival file is you will display the banner, you will read the information. This method returns all of this information because these are passed by ref, and I'm just going to show you why this is made possible. As you can see, the read line function passes, it's got these ref parameters, which means it's going to pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings back to the calling function. So you're going to get back all of this information, which can then be passed into your delay calculation. It can be passed into your display flight status. Calculate the delay by calling the delay function and display that particular line of information. And we are going to do that in a loop for all the data points that are given in arrivals.txt. And your task is to mirror this exactly for the departure file. Now, what readline does, it simply uses this file variable to read information into flight number, gate number, airport, time 1 and time 2, and because these are passed by ref, they get returned. Here's the display departure header. Please use it as it is because I have set a lot of columns here and set all the formatting for you. The calculate delay function is what you would need to import from your lab. And here's what I was talking about earlier, is that because time 1 and time 2 are string, then you're going to have to convert them into integer before you pass them to your calculate delay function. And you have to make sure to return the delay. So once your calculate delay function is going to take as input time 1, and it's going to take as input time 2, and you're going to do something like delay equals calculate delay time 1 time 2, and then that should calculate the delay for you, and then you would be able to return it. So where it says do not change, keep the programs, keep the functions as they are. And here the arrival choice method, i.e. what happens when you click A, is done for you. Now what happens when you click D is something you need to do. Display menu is available, input choice is available. These are very, very similar to the boilerplate code that was given to you for the emergency decisions program. And as you get more and more familiar with this, I would expect that you would be able to write your own menu, because now you know what a menu looks like, and now you know what are the supporting functions that you need to put in to make sure that a menu choice is interpreted correctly, and also the input validation is done. So basically, what you need to do is to go into the template and look at all of those functions that are marked with a star, and complete those functions by looking at similar functions that have been given to you. So here's the execution chart for the Flight Status Reporter program. At the top level in the main program, Flight Status Reporter main is that single function call to Flight Status Reporter menu, which in turn calls display menu, input choice, and then depending upon and then it calls arrival choice. Depending upon what the choice is, it calls arrival choice or departure choice. Arrival choice opens the file, processes the input lines, displays the arrival header, and it reads one line from the file. So it reads individual fields, calculates delay, and displays the flight status. And the same thing, very similar thing for departure choice. And if the user were to enter Q, then we come to quit, and then the program exits. So it's important for us to also keep this execution chart when you're going through the template, so you know what the flow of execution is. And because otherwise it's just going to look like a whole bunch of functions. It would be a good idea for you to trace by hand when you start with the Flight Status Reporter menu to see what is the flow of execution when the user hits A, what are the sequence of function calls, and what happens when the user hits D, and what happens when the user would like to exit from the program.